Welcome to Q&A number 26 here at the Wrestling Unlimited YouTube channel and Facebook group page. If you want your questions answered in a future Q&A video, remember they will be themed, and if you want, join the Wrestling Unlimited Facebook page or the WPW Unlimited Facebook page and post your questions there to be answered. This Q&A, since it is WrestleMania season, might as well do one about Mr. WrestleMania, even though I personally don't believe he is Mr. WrestleMania. But anywho, Shawn Michaels, Jesus himself. Q&A number 26, all about Shawn Michaels. Let's get started with some questions. Dylan Messerschmidt, would you say he's the most famous wearer of assless chaps in the world? Yeah, he's definitely up there. I'll give you that one. What if he got confused and he shot one of the wrestlers thinking he was hunting? I could see something going wrong with that, too. Oh my god, that would be hysterical. While there's still plenty of debate over who is the best of all time, many consider Shawn and Taker to be easily the top two. Do you feel the same way, and if so, who do you think is number one? I don't think Undertaker is number one, and I don't think Shawn Michaels is in the top two. I think he's definitely in the top 10. You have to realize that 4 of the greatest years in WWE's history came when Shawn Michaels was not there. People also call him Mr. WrestleMania, yet he has a very dismal record at WrestleMania. Although the matches he's competed in at WrestleMania are definitely some of the greatest of all time, especially his matches against Kurt Angle and against The Undertaker, his matches against Triple H and Benoit at WrestleMania 20, his match with Jericho at 19, the Iron Man match at 12. So, obviously, he's had matches that have been great, if not absolutely excellent, and he's just, to me, not Mr. WrestleMania. That title belongs to The Undertaker. The only person who should be considered Mr. WrestleMania is the guy who was undefeated for 21 straight appearances. 22-1 is his WrestleMania record. And I know a lot of you are going to say, well, a lot of his first couple of WrestleMania matches were not good. Think of the ones that were good. He had 3 really good ones against Triple H. He had 1 really good one against Kane. He had 2 really good ones against HBK. He had a really good one against CM Punk. If you want me to go on, he had a really good one against Randy Orton. He had a really good one against Batista. He had a really good one against Edge. Who else? He had a really underrated one against Ric Flair. He had a really underrated one against Sid. So a lot of Undertaker's matches have been good. But you cannot call Shawn Mr. WrestleMania because The Undertaker is the true Mr. WrestleMania. The only person who went undefeated for 21 straight appearances. He is 22-1 overall. In terms of him being the greatest wrestler of all time, Shawn is definitely not it. I don't think Undertaker is it either, even though The Undertaker should definitely be in the top 3. If I had to pick number 1, I'll go favorite. Maybe Ric Flair. That's my pick. Do you blame Shawn's perm for WWE's downslide in the 90s? For a lot of crap that Shawn gets about him being a backstage dick, and I agree with a lot of what people say about him, you have to realize that the reason why the WWE survived in the mid-1990s was because of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Even though they did not draw the biggest crowds, they did not draw the most money, they were the reason why the company was afloat. They were the reason why fans actually cared and showed up to their arenas and showed up to their events. So yeah, no, I don't blame his freaking perm. Good God. How sure are you that Shawn and Vince had an affair? Oh man, how should I put this? Montreal Screwjob, look it up. Were Marty and Sean called the Rockers because they had a fondness for rocking chairs? I can't answer these questions. I'm sorry. Would the ladder match with Razor Ramon be as legendary if someone else would have been Sean's opponent? The problem is, back then, who would you have put there? I'm trying to think. Like, the top guys were Diesel and Yokozuna and Bret Hart. Other than Bret Hart, who could have been that opponent for Sean? You got to keep that in mind. It was legendary with Razor Ramon. It probably would have been legendary without Razor Ramon, because let's be completely realistic here, a ladder match at that time in a wrestling company was almost unprecedented. So you have to keep that in mind too. Shawn was the first to compete in quite a few of WWE's gimmick matches, and many consider these to be the best matches of their kind, i.e. the ladder match and the Hell in a Cell match. Do you agree with any of these, or do you think they were outdone later on? The ladder match was definitely outdone later on. I still think that the triangle ladder match at WrestleMania 2000 was probably the best. Just a pure ladder match. I'm not talking about the TLC match that happened the year after. That would obviously be the single best TLC match of all time. But I think the ladder match was definitely outdone after those two. The Cell match, I can make an argument that the first one was the greatest of all time. A really small argument, but I can make one. Obviously, I still think the greatest of all time would be Undertaker Mick Foley. Or a personal favorite of mine would be the six-man one. Is that all for Dylan Messerschmidt? Okay, no. Does the back body drop onto the casket rank as one of the most cringe-worthy things you have ever seen in wrestling? Yeah. It was. Well, not really, because that back body drop looked... How should I put this? It didn't look as bad as the injury was. Honestly, it just looked like he landed awkwardly. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal, and it cost him 4 years of his career. So, no, it wasn't as cringeworthy, and I know you mentioned Sid's leg break as being cringeworthy. How do you call that cringeworthy? That was fucking hysterical. How do you call that cringeworthy? And if you don't understand my humor, then that's all I have to say. Why was HBK tapping out from nowhere in Backlash 2004? And why was HBK getting beat up by an invisible man in SummerSlam 2005? This comes from Tom Collier. I have to say one thing, not even about these two matches. Actually, about the triple threat at Backlash 04, but even the triple threat at WrestleMania 20. It was amazing how Triple H and Shawn Michaels, only those two, can pull off a triple threat match with just the two of them. Only they can. And only Triple H can strangle himself and make himself tap out to declare a new World Heavyweight Champion in vacant. Only Triple H and Shawn Michaels can do that. All the credit in the world to them. Matthew Mullins, why won't Shawn Michaels come back for a WrestleMania match? He has his heart set on retirement. If he's happy, then let him be. You know, a lot of people would love to see Shawn come back for just one more WrestleMania match, or one more wrestling match in general. I would too, but if he's happy, then let him be. Just let him be happy. Same thing with a lot of people that don't like the fact that Daniel Bryan retired. If he's happy, then let him be happy. If he wants to stay healthy the rest of his life and not risk paralysis or even death, then let him. And if he's happy with whatever he wants to do, then it is not our position to tell him what to do. Same thing with Shawn Michaels. I mean, it's not our position to tell Shawn, hey, guess what? You have to come back next year. I know you're beat up. I know you're older. I know you probably don't have a lot left in the ring, but we want you back for one more match. What kind of an asshole do you think we are? Do you think I am? I would never do that. If they're happy, let them be. Why did HBK use the super kick? Great question. He's obviously, in my opinion, the greatest wrestler to use the super kick. I'm pretty sure there should be no debate about that. But yeah. Why did he use the super kick? Why wouldn't he? It fit his character, especially the name of it. Just fit him. So, there you go. Rocker... Oh, not that. I'm sorry. Does HBK play PS4? Probably hunting games, like deer games and stuff like that. I used to play those too, and even was a Pro Bass Challenge. It was like a fishing PS2 game, I think it was, or maybe even not a PS4, PS Vita game. It might have been. I don't remember. Does HBK know how to play the game? Well, he is Jesus and Triple H is God, so you know what? Yeah. The answer to that question is yes. Brett Litke, how often do you think Shawn Michaels cries at night? What? I don't know. Some have said the Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12 was overrated. Do you agree? No. Because, again, matches like that were almost unprecedented and very rare and very unique, very uncommon, and very cool to see. You have two guys who have the physical and mental stability to be able to go an hour, or in this case, an hour plus, in the ring. Shawn and Brett were the right two guys to do it. Do I think that in terms of... I think it's overrated in the sense that it's both Shawn and Brett's best match, and I disagree with both of them. I think Shawn's best match was Taker at 25, and I think Brett's best match was either Owen at 10 or Austin at 13, or, what else did he have? Or Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam 91, or Davey Boy SummerSlam 92. For people saying it was Brett's best match, I don't agree. With people saying it was Shawn's best match, I don't agree. But in terms of it being overrated as a whole, I don't think so. I just think it's overrated in the sense that people consider it the best match of Shawn's career and the best match of Brett's career. Shawn Michaels likes hunting. Explain why we should support a cold-blooded murderer of innocent lives. Valid point. Very, very valid point. But again, if it makes him happy, then I'm all for it. Was Taker the right opponent to be Shawn's last? The story called for it 100%. If I can make an argument, honestly, that the story going into WrestleMania 26 in that retirement match was better than the one at 25 the year before. I think that if you look at a match that had the all-around story, an absolutely perfect story, it was the 26 match. The 25 match was excellent, but the 26 match told the better story. Didn't have the better match, but it told the better story. I think Whitkey has another question. Rough estimate, just how many pills has Shawn popped in his career? I don't know. I'm pretty sure in the late 90s he had to, especially in 98. But, I don't know. Alec Costaval, how sexy of a boy is HBK? I'm just a sexy boy, sexy boy. Okay, now that I'm done singing, was his most famous tag team partner God? Yes. CDX? Yeah. How intense was SummerSlam 2002? Probably... Should I say it? Yeah. Probably the best match in terms of a pure story in WWE history. it might be that match. I could make an argument for a lot of others, but that might be the single best. That's how good it was. Is HBK the most entertaining wrestler of all time? I could say he is, but that doesn't make him the best of all time. Just saying. All right, Walter Main finishes off. He has 10 questions. Oh, goody. How great was the HBK Triple H feud from 2002 to 2004? A little bit too much, a little bit too long, but the matches we had were gold. I mean, especially the ones from, obviously I mentioned SummerSlam 2002, also Bad Blood 2004 in that Hell in a Cell match, the 3 Stages of Hell match, the Triple Threat at 20. Those are just some of them. I don't remember what other matches they had. I honestly forgot. If they had another one, then let me know. But, yeah, a little bit too long. Also, would have preferred Shawn to go over a few times. Maybe the... I don't remember. Hold on a second. It would have been better if the feud at least once was for the title. I think it was, but I have to go back and double check. I'm honestly blanking out here. But in terms of how good the feud was, it was good, just a little bit too long. Has he ever found his smile? Well, he's happy now, so yes. Is there anybody alive that Shawn Michaels hasn't super kicked? You. And you better be the next one to be super kicked. Why didn't the Rockers win the tag titles? Good question. It's a woulda, coulda, shoulda scenario. I think they should have at least once. I mean, you at that time, the tag team division was really, really stacked. You had the British Bulldogs, you had the Hart Foundation, you had Demolition, you had the Legion of Doom, and then you had the Rockers. I think the Rockers should have held the titles at least once. HBK Jericho or HBK Triple H? In terms of feuds, I think it's HBK Triple H. In terms of matches, I might have to side with HBK Jericho. What was his better run, his first or his second? His first, because he had his most success in his first. I think that what would have made his second run even better was had he held a title, specifically a world title, not a tag title. I know he held one in late 2002, but it would have been nice if he held some more. I know he didn't want to be world champion, but it also wouldn't have hurt. What was his... Oh, I just answered that. Do you consider him the best performer ever? I still think it's Ric Flair. Just saying. Was there anyone better at playing the mid-match comeback? I mean, Cena tries to do it better today, but no, I don't think so. I always loved the kip up or the nip up, whatever it's called. The shots, the body slam, the elbow drop, and then the setup to the Sweet Chin Music. I always liked that. Greatest HBK match, I still think it's WrestleMania 25 against Taker. How great could a Shawn versus Randy Savage feud have been? Sadly, it's a feud we've never gotten. Feud we'll never get. A feud we should have had, but ultimately another mistake made by the WWE in feuds that should have happened. Also, a Shawn versus, especially when during the time he was hurt, I'm pretty sure that there was a Shawn versus Rock feud in there, in the works somehow. But even when both of them were in the same company at WrestleMania 20, you should have had Shawn versus The Rock. That's another hit. That's another miss that WWE had. Other than doing the obvious, like Cena versus Taker and Punk versus Austin, those are two. Shawn Michaels versus Randy Savage and Shawn Michaels versus The Rock. I think that's it. Let me just check. Yep, that's it. Alrighty. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sending questions. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everything. And goodbye until the next Q&A. I think the next Q&A will definitely be another themed one. Like I said, over the next couple of weeks, they might not come as often, but they will be themed when they do. Since it is WrestleMania season, I'm going to be doing a WrestleMania themed Q&A. I plan to do 3 of them. Actually 4 of them. WrestleManias 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and then 21 through current. And then one about 32, just separate. I also plan to do a WCW Q&A, an ECW Q&A, a Hall of Fame Q&A. I've already done Shawn, Triple H, and The Undertaker, so I'm planning to do a Cena one at some point, and I'm planning to do maybe a Hogan one. I'm not sure, but a lot of that will come in the next couple of weeks. If you have a request for videos that I should do in terms of Q&As or in terms of commentary videos or retro reviews or whatever, my throwback series, please let me know in the comments. You can follow me on Twitter, MattMeffy2. You can go to my Facebook page. You can go to the Facebook page of this YouTube channel, which is Wrestling Unlimited, or WPW Unlimited, whichever you prefer. Those are just some of the amazing plugs that I have with my great life. All right, thanks, guys. See you later.